Hi, my name is Brennan. I was born over 40 years ago. I was born at the end of the year on the 31st of December. Now, for some reason, the priest forgot to come to my christening. He did eventually get there after a few phone calls. He made it to my christening. Whatever reason he had for forgetting an important event in my life, but there's no point giving out about the rest of my life, so I'm only going to mention the good things. When I was a baby, my mother left me in my pram while leaving my sister and brother up to the crossroads to get the bus to school. I got out of the pram and opened the gate somehow, started crawling down the mountain. As I was crawling down, a woman coming up in her car see me and lifted me up and put her in the car and took me up, and she seen my mother looking for me and she gave her back. Another time my father was left to mind us and I was in my pram and some young goats came down from the mountain and got into the pram. My mother came home with the goats in the pram and my father was in big trouble. After that, that's all I can't really know about. That was Jenkinstown in County Louth. We went to a place called near Shilling Hill called Glendamara. There, I remember my first Christmas and my first birthday that I got an old second-hand. We were poor, and got an old second-hand horse with wheels, a small kind of horse, not a rocking horse or anything, but anyway, one of the wheels fell off, and my father and me brought it to blacksmiths. I remember going on the bellow and having to go on the bellow and the bellow going. It was a big, huge, old-fashioned blacksmith's bellow, for heating up the fire to make or do the metalwork or to make the horseshoes and all that. Anyway, so that was my first memories of my life, and then after that we moved to Dundalk to Greenacre for a year. I can't really remember. And then we moved into we actually moved into Greenacres before we came into to live in Glendamara. So and then we moved into Dundalk. I can't things that happened. The first thing I can remember is was going to Joyce's Quay and in a caravan on the beach, and we had a goldfish called Pamela, but it didn't survive much after we got home. The journey to Joyce's Quay, I can remember playing on the beach and all that. And had some toy cars and they got washed away, and then we found them the next day on the beach. So and then I can remember when we first cycled with my father and my sister. We went to Annigasson. We made as far as the bridge. I remember on the way back, my father stopping at a field and there was mushrooms, and my father climbing over the fence, picking the mushrooms and bringing them home and frying them on the pan. So that's my first memory. And then it was this after that, I can remember being in school and my teacher, Mr. Killen, he didn't think I was smart enough to teach me maths, so he got me to draw the spaceship on the maths book and I drew it perfectly. So I got into drawing at 10, so I was 10 years old. So anyway, then actually I can remember learning my bicycle before I started going on that first cycle, going to the park, and either it was my brother or my father pulling onto the back of the bike and then letting it go and me falling off. But anyway, that's another memory. I'll leave it for a second and think more about it and continue. Thank you. Anyway, that's the first part. And thank you, Brendan Connolly from Dundalk is my bit of my story of my life. I'll go back on a few things. When I was in Bendamar, I can remember there was an old van or something. I remember playing at the van and catching a stickleback and putting it into an old bat, round kind of bowl, big bowl. I don't know if it was a bat, it was kind of like a big bowl with handles or a bat, and I'm putting it in there. And I forgot when I went into Dundalk to live and all that, I can remember a man that worked with Dad taking pictures of us and taking us up to the zoo. I can remember seeing a jaguar in a very small cage. And then I went to Rackdamar School, and I can remember this young student teacher coming in to our classroom, and she brought apple seeds with her and paper yoga gardens, and she got me to plant the apple seed. In my life, I seem to bump into people after something happened, and for some reason she was walking her dog on the street one day, and I remembered her, I recognised her, and this must be a week after I planted the apple seed, and I said, "Would you wait a minute, miss, I just want to show you my apple tree." It grew, it didn't survive much after that, but it was just my first tree. But she, Nuala Shaw, she doesn't really like me that much now, but she was the thing that started the whole thing off. I still see her cycling her bicycle. She does cycling, she's really fit. Later on I joined a mountain club called the Wee Benions, and she was on, and I was talking to her, and she reminded me that she was my teacher. Anyway, she was when I was a child. Anyway, it was kind of funny. Anyway, chatting off my old school teacher. Anyway, anyway, that's the crack. And she got me into my love of growing things and trees and all that. And I suppose she's started the whole thing of my love of wildlife. But don't tell her that. Anyway, that's the story. Anyway, thank you. I'll continue on in a minute when I stop laughing. I can remember when I was at the Christian Brothers primary school, the thing I actually drew on the maths book was a spaceship. I can remember going on a school tour with the school, and we're going up to Dublin Zoo and the Natural History Museum and seeing the big Irish deer skeleton as we went in the door with the big antlers. It was huge, and then going up the stairs and seeing the big skeletons. Oh yeah, I can remember seeing the basking shark. It was a big stuffed basking shark, and going upstairs and seeing the big skeletons of the humpback whale and the blue whale. things like that. I can remember after that, had going transferring from Christian Brothers to Dundalk National School. I was actually the first Catholic in the school. I can remember after that moving to Tippins Wood and Caroline Toner helping me with my reading and seeing my first grey squirrel and getting permission from Caroline Toner to go up Tippins Wood. And she would actually, that morning when she was teaching me my reading, she told me she lost a shoe that she had when she was a child, and Ruth, her child, was wearing it. So as we were coming back down, for some, like I say, things happen sometimes, and I found it. Some miracle, I found the shoe, and I brought it back and gave it to her. She was a bit annoyed. She was expecting Eddie, and she was a bit tired, and she was a bit annoyed that we kind of woke her up from her rest, but I got the shoe back to her anyway. I can understand, she was having a baby, she was expecting. Anyway, that's the crack. The place that actually we stayed in the gatehouse in Balogan Park. You know, that's the wee house there, and near the gates for a year. I can remember being in the house and seeing these horns of an antelope that was killed probably 100 years ago or more, 200 years ago, and I asked her, could I bring them into Dundalk school, and I put it on the nature table and then brought it back and gave it back to her after showing it to the school. I can remember, when we were going up Tippins Woods, my father getting tired and me and my sister running ahead, and we got near to the top, and there was a bit of a kind of 5-foot climb. My sister couldn't make it, but I made it to the top. So after that, I started, cycling to the shop in Balogan, and getting a nice lolly, kind of a pretty, an orange ice lolly with ice cream. You know those ones, were kind of like chalk ices, except instead of chocolate, it was kind of an orange kind of coating. Anyway, I can't remember the name of them. After I started, when I got home, I started. I remember cycling with my father, bringing me to Roach Castle, and on the way, getting to Coffin Bridge, and there was a man on the bridge, and then me going under the bridge where there was 3 parts, and there was a bit where the river overflows, that there's an extra part for the river to go on under the bridge, and I went underneath it and all that, and then going as far as the church and asking for directions to Roach Castle. My dad used to work in the post office, so he kind of got to know the area. That's where he started taking me places. We tried to go out we went to Tiburona River, and then I could remember trying to figure out a way of getting up to Connolly's Castle, and I could see it, but I didn't know the way, and we went up a road, and it was a cul-de-sac. I think it led to a school or something, or then we went back down, and then I ran on ahead and went up a road, and I found it, Connolly's Castle, and I got there. I was only a young kid. I remember one time, when I was at Dundalk School joining the Scouts, it was actually the Cubs, and I was too old for the Cubs, but I remember going on a hike with them up Castle Mountain and coming down and slipping on the grass, and then the leaders lit a fire to cook sausages, and and the army came up and gave out to the leaders. I told them next time they go up the mountain and light fires to tell the guards first if they were going camping or anything. They get permission from the guards first. Oh, it was so funny. Ken Ramsey and David Ross getting told off. Oh yeah, oh, it was hilarious. Anyway, that's the crack anyway. And then I remember going on a camp up to listen to Chico Ring Fort, and children damming some young salmon or trout in a part of the river, and me getting up the next morning and breaking the dam and letting the fish go. They trapped them, and I was annoyed, and then I remember finding a mould, a stone that looked like a mould of an axe, and I didn't know what it was at the time, and I laughed at it, but I think it was actually a mould for a bronze axe or something, and I laughed at it. I was at Lisna Chico at the river. I found it in the river. Anyway, that's the crack. Anyway, stop laughing. I'll get back to it. So to continue on from the Castle Mountain Walk, that's in Ravensdale, and different things going up, and different going to Lisna Chico above the Lumpers pub. I started going with the Scouts places. We went to I remember one time going up to UC. Oh no, let me think. I'll tell the story anyway first, but I'll probably be going back. I can't remember exactly when these camps actually happened, because it's nearly 30 years ago. Anyway, we went up to Dublin to UCD for, I think it was a Smile Cup, but we were just up just to see. We weren't actually in any event, and I remember what was that time? I think we were doing something. I think we went to a training place for the army or the guards, and there was an old plane, and I remember stretchering one of our scouts on a stretcher, and then learn how to do mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and all that. And then I remember doing a treasure hunt looking for clues around Dublin, and went to this old church. It's a famous church, I can't remember the name of it, and making a mould out of plaster and all that. And I remember one of the nights we were in UCD on the camp, and Pamela I bumped into Pamela Ramsey. She was our scout leader or patrol leader, and telling me that there was a film on the courtyard in UCD. So I went to the courtyard, and anyway, there was an old reel and a fly sheet of an Icelander tent, and a green one, and remember the scout leader running in with the reel under his arm to make it look good and putting it on, and next minute there was a load of dancers on the fly sheet, and it was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. It was brilliant. I love Indiana Jones. I actually went to his last film that he made in the cinema, but it was he is brilliant. He's just he's just brilliant actor. Harrison Ford. He's just brilliant. He's just so anyway, that was my greatest memory of the Temple of Doom, and I always loved Indiana Jones after seeing that. I loved him before that, but it's just unbelievable. Remember going to what was it? We went to to England, to the Lake District, to Windermere, near Lake Windermere. You could actually see it from the campsite. It was a high point in Windermere, and trees, big woodland, and we remember getting to the gate and seeing deer, and getting up every morning and seeing deer. You just bump into them. And I remember getting up one morning with Jonathan Duggan and a few other of the scouts, Barry Finnegan. I don't know if he was there, but he was in scouts. He could have been there. And Michael, who was it? Michael, I can't remember Michael, his surname. Anyway, going up, and I had him binoculars with me, and we could see a red squirrel, my first red squirrel, and we looked through it and we could see the red squirrel. Of course, I had to let Jonathan have a look. So I really wanted to. Oh, it was brilliant, and seeing the fighter jets fly over. We're near a training base with the RAF fighter planes flying over. I remember going out in a rowboat and going to an island, and these women in our rowboat went onto the island that I was on, and I thought it was a good idea to get off the island. I didn't, so I kind of left. I went on the rowboat and then went back and went out with Jonathan then on another rowboat. And then we went to Blackpool and went on the roller coasters and all that. And one night we went up around 11 o'clock or near midnight, and to the highest point. It was dark, and there was leaders from another scout troop, an English scout troop, and told us there was a meteor shower, and we could see all the shooting stars and meteorites flying over the sky. It was a clear night and it was beautiful. And I remember a year after that, going to the share centre in Fermanagh, and going on the banana boat, and we it was kind of like a share centre, and going to the Marble Arch Caves and going down the steps and seeing the mighty oak tree. And if you don't plant your mighty oak trees now you won't, your grandkids or your great grandkids won't see these trees. You have to plant them. If you have a big garden, plant an oak tree. If you want to do something to help the environment, you don't have to plant a load of trees, just one oak tree. And the insects that live on the oak tree are great for the environment, and even squirrels, red squirrels, if they're around, they will collect the acorns, and jays like acorns too. They're a bird. If you really want to help, the other thing, camps. So I remember going on a camp, and Jonathan Doug was on, and there used to be a program on television, but I remember him coming and making the program. I can't remember the name of it. It was a children's, a teenage TV program. Anyway, that's what I can think of now. And then when I was a teenager, going out and I bought a guidebook for trees, and going out and looking for my first oak tree, and it was on the Red Barns Road, at the field that the army used for the rifle, for training how to shoot a gun, a rifle, an army guns, a training range, a firing range. So it was along the road. The fire range was well in from the road, I used to go out. I remember going up to Oliver Plunkett's farm, and there was oak trees, young oak trees growing on the side of the road, and taking them home and putting them into pots, rescuing them from trees from the roadside. I remember going into Tippenswood and collecting acorns, and I was growing young oak. I remember putting them in a plastic bag and seeing them. If you want to get oak trees to germinate, put them into a plastic bag with leaves, and they'll germinate. You have to watch them all the time, or the tips will go brown. You have to plant them in the pot when they germinate. You have to keep watching them. Anyway, I learned how to plant oak trees when I was a teenager, and I've been doing it ever since. I've done ones recently. I will get to it, but I have more to tell before I actually get to that point. Anyway, thank you, and I'll just take a break for a minute. It's kind of tiring trying to remember everything. Oh boy, thank you. Oh. Hello, I'm back again, and I'd like to go back to Rackdamore. There was something I forgot, and I'd like to add it in. When I was in Rackdamore, we went to Dunneree for the day and for most of the day. I remember going to Dunneree with Rackdamore School, and I remember there was this kind of wooden platform, kind of like an old railway platform made out of wood with steps at either side, and went up and we could see deer. I don't know what kind of deer they were, but they were, and then we went and we seen them and all that, and I went and I saw a horse chestnut. It was held up by supports because it must be a very old tree. There's some history to it. I must find it. I'll actually look it up and get back to it and back to you on that. What's the importance of this chestnut tree that they didn't want to cut down? There was filled in with cement and all that. It was hollow. And anyway, we were going back, and I wanted to see the deer again, so I kind of sneaked away from the school, from the teachers. I stayed at the end, and I went back to see the deer. You know, my love of wildlife and all that. You know, kid. And I remember going and seeing the deer and coming back, and Mrs. Carl looking for me. She's not here now, but you know, I'm passed away. But I remember for being annoyed with me for disappearing from the group and getting. I wasn't lost. I was just exploring more. Anyway, that's the crack. And then in Dundalk National School, I can remember Mrs. Smith. She was our headmistress and my teacher. I remember I wasn't great with the reading, but I used to love listening to the other kids reading the stories, and that's, I suppose, why I write short stories now. I've written Brendan's Tales, and I suppose I have a few of my stories up on Instagram, YouTube, Big Tusk and Sea Duck, about a Viking, a man, a fisherman, or a boat builder getting the idea from seeing ducks at sea for the ideas for Viking ships. Or anyway, and then there's temperature regulator and the king, the White Knight, the blacksmith's daughter, and the king's 8 or 9 daughters. I can't remember how many. It happened. I was telling about in Life Kennist. It's actually Smith, the old family Smith's Kennist, and I was telling. I think it was Aoife. I was telling Aoife the story, and she says, "Oh, you have to add everybody. You have to in the Kennist. You have to add their names to the story." So, and Aoife, it's like Aoife's one of the. I can't remember if she the blacksmith's daughter or she actually one of the king's daughters. I'm not sure. Anyway, that's how it all came about, the story. It was going to be something totally different, and I just accidentally walked into the chemist and told someone, and I had to add everybody to the story. I nearly got in trouble for leaving out what's her name? Kira. So I added her to a story called the Green Green Warriors about her, and I put her in that story for her. I wrote that story for her. But to get back, when I was in Mrs. Smith's class, I remember we're getting the caretaker to take an old bookcase out of the storeroom, and he did. And I remember looking through the bookcase, and there was an old bird book, 1930s, really small one. And I asked Mrs. Smith, could I have a lend of it, and she lent it to me, and I took it home. And my father, I couldn't read, I still can't read now. I don't know what's wrong with me, I just can't learn. Someone nearly learned me once up in Dublin, but I didn't keep it up, and Catherine, I'll get back to her. She helped me. She was anyway. She was from Dublin. I was not in Dublin for a year when I was in my 20s, young. I was 20, I think. 19 or 20. Anyway, that's so far. Anyway, I started my love of bird watching from Mrs. Smith lending me the bird book. Anyway, then my finches and my other birds, goldfinch and all that, and the charfinch and the tits and all, Louis tits. Anyway, thank you. I'll take a break for a minute. Back again, and I can remember something when I was in the share centre, going back, that we actually went on a cycle, which I remember that morning, then tightening the bikes and all, getting them ready, and people from the share centre, and we went out on the bicycles and we cycled, and some people went on bicycles, we went on bicycles, and some people went on the Canadian canoes, and they were to meet us when we got to our destination, and swap the bicycles we were on with their canoes. So that's how we kind of what we did, and it was a good day. Oh, another thing I remember is we went out for a day trip to what was it? Pomana. I can't remember the name of the town. It must be Pomana Town or something. Anyway, I can remember going on the boat. It was a kind of a model of it wasn't a Brain model. It was a Viking ship, but it had a motor on it. And we went to town, and in another town on that boat, or one of the boats, they had two. I think it was that boat. We went to an island in the share centre, whatever the name of the lake was, and we went out to an island, and there was an old man from Canada, and he had teepees, and there was a girl he was with, but we didn't see her. She stayed away while he was in the town telling us stories, and we stayed the night. He was telling old Native American stories, and he showed us a peace pipe. I can remember that, and I remember getting up early and going for a walk around the island before I was heading back to the share centre. Oh yeah, I went out on a windsurfer too. I remember going out on a windsurfer at the share centre, and I was heading out and I was doing brilliant, and someone shouted, one of the instructors shouted, "Would you turn back? You're heading out to the middle of the lake." And I tried to turn it around and I fell in. So anyway, that's the crack. Then I can remember going to the Cocoa Mountains, and I'm walking through a lake. It was a really bad day and it was windy and all that, and one of our tents blew away that night. It was with David Sloan. He led us and all that, we were really blown away, and we only had, there was a wee 2-man tent with 3. We had to share it with another one because another person, because another scout, because from our troop, because one of the tents blew away from us. It was a disaster. God, it was oh God. That was the crack. And then as far as oh yeah, I remember going when I was young. I remember after the scouts going on Rye Mountain, I remember going out to the Lumpers pub and leaving my father at the bridge and going up and climbing Clonmert Cairn on my own. This was the first mountain. I didn't even think I climbed it the day we went up Castle's a bit over Connolly, and then you got Castle, and I went up Clonmert Cairn on my own. I remember being in the Mourne Mountains one night. We stayed overnight. There was I can't remember the name. It was Irish of Fox, what they called the camp, and we were just going for a night, and the tent blew down, and then I went out in wellies up on the hike and got up to the Hare's Gap and had to be carried down because I got blisters. Or there was another time I went on a hike during there was snow and ice, and I had a stick, and the stick broke, and I saw a nice puddle, and I went to break the ice, and it was a bog hole, and I sunk, and I had to be carried off the mountain. These are things that happened to me. That story was told for years. Probably other ones was told too. It's I was a disaster. But then years later, I was with Niall McCurry. We were helping out as scouts. I think he was helping out as Sea Scouts, and I was in the pub, and he says, "What? David Sloan was there. The man mentioned that he took us on the scout, and he was our leader. He was from 5th Loud Scout Group, but he was helping out 1st Loud." And he said, "David is in a mountain here club called the Wee Binions. Why don't you ask him and can you go with him and see if you can join the group and get into hill walking?" And thanks to Niall McCurry, I got into hill walking. So it's all to do with Niall McCurry. So I thank you, Niall McCurry. If I never said thank you, you got me into hill walking. Only for you, I probably never would have. And I thank you. Anyway, that's the crack. So thanks, Niall McCurry, and I'm going to take another break. Get back to you hopefully soon after a commercial break. Thank you. I remember one time we went with the scouts to Crawfordsburn and going to see the Transport Museum and the Ulster Museum, and I remember we went to look at a place where there was an old gun tower for during the war. That was in Bangor, I think. These are the kind of memories I have. But they're kind of like I say, you do something and you just remember something again. Niall McCurry was a scout leader in Blackrock Scout Troop, and David Sloan was in 5th Loud, and Niall told me about the wee bunions, so I got into the wee bunions. I did a lot of things with scouts. I can't remember them all, but what was it? Probably come back to me. Like I say, I was in scouts for 5 years. Oh yeah, Ballyfin '93. I nearly forgot. How could I forget Ballyfin '93? I remember. We went down on the train from Dublin, bringing all our gear. It was a world jamboree. Scouts from Canada. I'm not sure if they were from America. Some were from Australia, England, and all that. Different parts of the world. Probably France was there. I'm not sure. But I remember going on what was it? Paragliding with a parachute pulled by a paraglider on my own. I didn't go. Someone wasn't harnessed with me. I went up, and I remember, but it was really high. I can't say how high, but I could see for miles, and it was only for a couple of seconds. I came down and I landed okay and all that. I remember doing a salt course and getting wet. I was 18, so it was there was a big scout camp, a big circus tent, I mean, and I remember getting my first drink. I think Niall McCooey or someone bought it for me. I'm not sure. Bought me the drink, or Charles Ross. I'm not sure who bought me the drink. I actually think it was Niall McCooey. I think he was there, and I think he bought me a drink. And it was half a pint. And oh yeah, and there was a tribute band to what's his name? That chap that sings what's his name? Oh god, I'm just a poor boy in a poor family with my life. Oh yeah, what's his name? Oh god. Oh, I'm just getting a brain freeze. I'll come back to me. Oh god. Freddie Mercury, of course. God, how could I forget Freddie Mercury? Oh, for sake. Brain freeze. It just takes me a couple of seconds. I have a bit of a problem with my brain. I was run over by a coal lorry when I was a child, left with a brain injury, but I don't let it stop me. Even though I do get brain freezes, I freeze for a minute, and I suppose you've noticed when I've been telling the story, my brain kind of freezes, and I'm trying to rack my brain to think what's the actual name of the or the actor or the thing or the person, or I get a brain freeze. Anyway, I was 7, it could be worse. I could have died. At least I'm still here. It's like I say, if I didn't have that accident, I still wouldn't be living in Dundalk, and I'd be living somewhere else. If my life wasn't so crap, I wouldn't have met the people I've met, like Fiona, Connor, and Niall McCooey, and all that, and David Sloan, and Jerry Curran, and Pat McGasson, and all these people that made a great influence in my life. Of course, and Chloe, and there's a nice person I know, Anya. She's anyway, I can't, but she's just someone I know. She's just really nice. She's just anyway, that's my life. I just get on with it. I like I say, I'm not going to go into any bad things. There's no point. It's not going to make my life any better. Crying about it, so I just get on with it. I loads of setbacks, but still, I'm still here in Dundalk in the same house for the last 42 years. So since I was 6, we moved in. So, anyway, it could be worse. Anyway, I'll take another break. Anyway, thank you. Another commercial break. We're back in 5 minutes. Another thing that happened in Ballyfin 93. Mary Robinson came in her helicopter, and that day, I don't think she was actually on the helicopter when this happened. Her helicopter was coming down, landing somewhere, and it was landing near the portable toilets, and the wind from the blades tumbled the toilet, and there was a wee girl in it, and she got blue fluid all over her. And we were really smelly, and that evening we met Mary. We were in the queue waiting Mary Robinson, and I must have been really smelly and dirty because we didn't have we weren't access to any showers or we tried to clean ourselves, but it was very hard. But I probably was a bit smelly, and she skipped me in the queue, but I wouldn't have shook my hand anyway either. I was probably stinking. Anyway, the crack is they took the girl to the shower and they had to wash it off in the college. She got a free shower. Lucky little girl, she got a shower. But she had to get blue fluid all over to get the shower. Anyway, I don't know. And thank God I could have been in that toilet. Anybody could have been in that toilet. Except for Mary Robinson. She probably got a toilet in the college. Anyway, that's the crack. Anyway, that's the crack. Then I got into wee binions, and like I say, I bumped into Nuala Shaw again, and on Liam Hughes and what's his name? Desi Morgan, I can't remember, and Thomas and Thomas Jr. Sad that years later he was in Donegal, keeping the one that kind of keeps the crowds back from the cars to keep them safe, and the car went out of control and killed him and his friend. It's really sad, but I met him in the wee binions. It's unbelievable. He was only young. He was much younger than me. Anyway, he was a Stewart. But anyway, I met him in the wee binions, and he was on the first walk, and we climbed up Cloward Cairn. We were in the coolies, and Liam Hughes split to go up Cloward Cairn. We were just on a small hike. It was and Liam started leading the A groups, and we used to go out in the A groups and all that with Liam, and used to be really fast. People used to be, saying we can't keep up with him, and we want to go on the A groups, but we can't keep up with Liam. I think at the end I had laughed at the time, but they made a super A group because they wanted an A group for people that wanted to go on an A walk, and then they made a super league A group that was better than the other A group. It was so anyway. But anyway, that's the crack. I went to Wales in the Lake District with them I went up, what was it? Anna Egg or stuff. Can't remember the names, which one's which. One in Scotland. I was in climbing in Scotland one time. I did the Anna Egg or what was another or something else. I can't remember the names of them. But we went up a ridge in Wales. I remember getting onto it, and when there was this little hard climb, and we got onto the ridge, and there was someone walking their Jack Russell dog on this ridge, and we got lost, and we were coming down. We came into this valley with loads of tile piles, from old mining from slates. And I remember coming out into a car park, and we could see our bus driving past for the Binions, and there was a car park across the road from where we came down, and there was a minibus, and we give a driver a fiver if you take us to the Halfpenny Pass where our bus was, and we pretended we didn't get lost. Anyway, we did way lost. We went down the wrong way. I'm not saying who it was that was leading us. Anyway, I'm not any better. I definitely would have got lost if I was leading them, but anyway, it wasn't me. And then I was in Scotland. I did this ridge. It was about a 3-hour walk, and we came into a valley called the Lost Valley, and they used to steal the cattle, and this was Club Coolan. I used to do rock climbing up in Dalkey Quarry, and I met them, and I joined the group, and we went to Scotland, and I remember seeing a ptarmigan bird, and it was white. They changed colours time of year, and it was winter, and it was white. They're pretty rare, and you only can see them in Scotland. And then I remember going to a brothel. It's not a place, but I can't remember the American name, but don't quote me wrong. It's a place up in the Scottish mountains for people to stay overnight. Vivian, you don't need. You could just drop in, and if it's empty, you can use it. Or I think it's online now that you can say you're going to drop into these places. They're all over Scotland. So if you want to, you don't have to pay. They're just free. So if you go to Scotland, look these places up. They're in the mountains, and I remember going up and it was starting to snow, and I remember going with a man to in his car, and he was saying a hired car was off-road car. You could do what you want with it. Don't hit like the people that hire out the cars here. That don't hire your cars to hill walkers. Or give them make sure you insure them extra for the for the car. Anyway, don't. Anyway, anyway, it was remember another time. I was there a week in Scotland with Club Coolan, and I remember him taking me to this. There was a big fence around it. It must have been for deer or something, and a big ladder over it, and we would walk for miles before we got to the mountains. I mean miles. With the wee Binions, I remember going to Clifton and doing the bends, some of the bends, not all of them, and we stayed in a holiday village, and I remember seeing some small, very old oak trees in the grounds and the park of the holiday village, and we stayed. Different things like that. I remember going back with the scout leaders to the Coca Mountains, and we got lost. But only I realised we were going the wrong way. But I said, oh, I didn't realise. I realised we were going the wrong way, but I didn't say anything. I kept my mouth shut because I didn't want to interfere. And then all of a sudden, one of the leaders says, we're going the wrong way. And then my hat blows away, and David to this day thinks I was going to run after it, but I wasn't. But anyway, he thought I was going to run off the mountain after a hat. I wasn't. Not that bad. Anyway, that's crack. And I've climbed the highest mountain in Switzerland, and now I remember going up and not going to the final point. There was a kind of 2-4 bits, and I stayed behind. And then I remember these guys coming down, some Basque people, and the rope got all tangled up and cut up in the rocks. And I asked Brendan, could we let them come down on our rope? They were in trouble, so I kind of asked. I'm sure Brendan would have done it anyway. The other Brendan Dunnigan, he disappeared a year later in South America and down a crevasse. I never seen him again. I had actually a dream about it last night. I seen him again, and he says, no, I didn't actually. I was sorry. I was always hoping that when he disappeared, he was just trying to get away from his wife. I shouldn't say that. No, I didn't say that. I'm still hoping he's still alive. He was never found. Anyway, that's the crack. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. But that's an idea of my life and what I did. I've seen plenty of wildlife. Oh yeah, I'm going to mention one more thing. It was my dream to plant a woodland. My friend Connor, has a girlfriend. I only know her a year, and less than a year that I know her, I've been in Donegal 5 times. She's taken me down 5 times to plant trees. It was my dream to plant trees, and she brought me to the highest cliffs in Ireland and all that, and she can just spot birds like that, and I got pictures with the help of her Owetia, and she just spotted it, and I got a picture of it along the road. She was just driving past, and she's seen the deer and all that. She's just so into wildlife. She loves wildlife. She's just so nice person, and she's just into it. She just I think she studied it, when she was a young lady. She's always asking me to take pictures of plants and jellyfish for her, and send them to her. Anytime I've been with her. So that's the crack. And can't forget Fiona. I went to Clare with her and Connor. This was Connor's new girlfriend. This is Fiona, and my life totally changed when I met this lady. The first time we went to Clare. This is it was actually the second time, but we went there. Second time we went down, we went to some cliffs, and I got in some trouble. My shoes I was a bit slippy, and I was slipping down. She gave me her hand, and Connor ran down and pushed me back up. But she kind of, more or less, helped stop me from falling. I don't want to get too into it, because she doesn't want me to. She wouldn't like that. So I don't want to say, but she kind of, only for her taking my hand, I probably would. I could have slipped down a cliff. There was a plateau. I might have been just lucky enough to fall onto the plateau, but I could have rolled on further into the Atlantic Ocean. So, anyway, and then she danced with me in the matchmaking in was it Bandoran? I can't think of it. It's in Clare, she's always been nice to me. And then the first time I remember now, we went to the house that Father Ted was the outside, where the starts with Father Ted, and she of course she kicked me up the backside like Father Brennan getting kicked up the backside, and we had tea. I took my old bike down and there wasn't brakes on it, and I nearly run over the owner of Father Ted's house, or the owner that owns the house, the farmer, and he says he invited us back for tea. He said he bumped into Connor. For some miracle, he actually bumped into Connor, and we were invited back for tea in Father Ted's house. So it's a crack. Anyway, going swimming in a lake. I can't remember the name. It dries up, Turlock or something. And we went swimming there, and we threw mud and all that, and good crack. It was a great day. And then the second time we went cycling for about 16 miles on that hill, and of course I had a new bike and my brakes weren't breaking down, and I'm oh God, I was trying to keep up, and I was at the back. Fiona was in the front of me all the time. I was trying to keep up. Anyway, that was the crack. And Chloe. I can't forget Chloe. How could I forget Chloe? She's my cousin. She was Fiona's lodger, and I went for a cycle with her one day, and we found out we were cousins. Oh, nearly cousins. We say we're cousins, but still trying to work that out, how we're related to each other. And she's kind of my hero. She's in 3 marathons. She's on GoFundMe, and she raised up over €1,000 for Cross charity. That's Connor Hughes' charity. He's my best friend. If I didn't meet him, I wouldn't have a life. He is my life. I put too much pressure on him. Anyway, he's always in Romania and Ghana and Africa. He never stops. He's most of his life in other countries, doing something. He does a gig every year in Italy, so he's always away for a week or two. He's never hardly in the country, and when he is in the country, he never stops working for the charity, filling containers and lorries for Ghana and lorries for Romania. He's just unbelievable. If you want to help Connor Hughes Cross charity, he's a hero. He's always risking his life. Even at the minute, he's in Africa at the moment, and with his girlfriend and the work they're doing. I think they rescued a donkey. He keeps sending me these pictures of this donkey, and she loves donkeys, and I think she's rescued it. I made a passport to bring him home, so hopefully we can get him on the plane. It's Connor Jr. Hopefully we can get him home to Ireland. No, I'm only joking. I think he'll probably stay with the children in Ghana and the place he built for the children. So hopefully he'll do well. Anyway, thank you. That's most of my life. If I could go on forever and tell all details. Oh yeah, the highest mountain I did was in Switzerland, was the Monte Rosa, and I saw wildlife there too, and I seen a nutcracker, I seen squirrels, and I saw mountain antelope. I've seen in Ireland. I've seen golden eagle, which of course was with Connor's girlfriend too. I owe so much to this woman. Hopefully, I'll always will be our friend. Anyway, she's a great lady. I've seen animals I've seen just before I stop is the common seal, the grey seal, fox, hedgehog, badger, otter, pygmy shrew, hare, Irish mountain hare. I've seen peregrines. I've seen a marsh harrier. I've seen a merlin, sparrowhawks, and different things. So probably other things I've seen. I've seen a mink once. I've seen let's see, it's most things. I've seen what else did I see? I once was coming off a mountain and I accidentally went onto a cliff, and there was a peregrine 5 foot away from me. I won't mention where because I don't want to mention where these nest sites are. For the birds safely. I remember accidentally coming down off a mountain, and he literally looked at me and he just glided into the air, and I was literally just as close as I ever been to a peregrine. I nearly stepped onto a hare once up in the mountain too. In old ruins of a foundation of a house. I remember my physics teacher giving me an end of a book and me going to Ravensdale and finding the giant sequoia trees that grow there. It's all changed now, but I can't find one or two that I found when I was a child. But it's all changed and the things have grown up, so hopefully they're still there, the trees. And I've grown 200 trees. Actually turned out to be 100. Some of them didn't survive, so it's about 130 trees out of 250 acorns. And David out of RD Garden Centre is looking after them for me until I find somewhere to plant them. I'm on GoFundMe if anybody wants, on Brendan Connolly Green Forest, if you want to help me raise money to plant a forest in County Louth. So if you want to help, I'm on GoFundMe, and I'm going to try to do it for my 50th birthday at the end of 2024. In 2025 I will be 50. So if you want to help, I'll be I'm doing it to help the environment, wildlife, everything, to give people somewhere that can go and chill out and just have the same experience as I had learning about the wildlife and seeing things and just chilling out. Thank you. My name is Brendan Connolly. I'm signing off. I hope you like my story of my life. I know it's short, but I'm not that old yet. Oh, a few things I've got to mention. When I was with Club Crew, I met them in Dorky Quarry, and they said took beginners on. I remember them taking me to Wicklow and me going up a climb, and there was oak trees growing out of the rock faces, and I remember seeing these old ancient oak trees, small, growing out of the tree, and we climbing around them and getting up. They tied 2 ropes together and we abseiled 60 metres down off the top of the climb. We went to Lamigan with them too, and we found a shell from World War II and we marked it. And I remember going to the police barracks in the north and showing them on the map where we marked it. I remember picking it up and thinking Jim picking it up thinking it was a flask, and I'm putting it down very carefully and realised it was a shell from World War II, and they used to use it as Mormons as a firing range. So I used to walk Fiona's dog, Pippin. I loved that dog more than I loved Fiona, and Fiona one time took me out. She used to take me out for walks. She kind of one time I imagined, would you take me out to Green Ore to see Finn the dolphin, and she took me out for 3 hours and we watched the dolphin together, and it was my first common dolphin. I seen fungi 7 years ago. I knew fungi was going to disappear or die, so I went 7 years ago to see him, and I got my last with fungi, but it was my first common dolphin with Fiona. I went down on my own. I don't like travelling on my own because of my reading problem, but I got the courage because I knew if I didn't go down I might never see fungi again. What else? With Jerry Kern, he was a group called the Druids, and we used to go with Pat Gaston, and we used to go out walking. I remember seeing a Brocken spectre. It's a kind of a big circle of a rainbow, and the shadow of a person would be in the middle of it, whatever person it chose. But the shadow of the person standing in chose one of us in the group. I don't know which one it chose. It's kind of the Brocken spectre is kind of a spectre, a ghost. So, but it looked like an angel. Anyway, that's the crack. That's the 2 last things. I can't think of anything else. There's probably loads of other stories I could tell you. That's it. It's mainly all I can think of at the minute. Anyway, that's the end. This time I'm really signing off this time. Unless I think of something else. Anyway, thank you, Brendan Connolly, and thanks. I just forgot something. Of course, I went into Clare recently with Connor and his new girl, and his girlfriend. I won't say his new girlfriend. It is his girlfriend now at the moment. She's not his new girlfriend. She's grown out with him a couple of years. Anyway, this is a wee joke I have. Anyway, we went down and went to Animal Cage, where the bears. I can't pronounce it properly. Went to a ring fort. It was a kilometre walk, but it was worth it. I wanted to go to the one nearer to the road. There was another one, a bigger one, but this one was right up on a cliff. But Connor wanted to see if we could see Father Ted's house from the cliff, so we walked for a kilometre with my sore hip. Oh, I have a sore hip, and it's actually getting better, thank God. Anyway, and then we went to the cliffs. We went to a beach. Oh yeah, on the way we went into a lake called what's it called? Harris Lake or something. I can't remember the name of the lake. But it was went for a swim. Did a dead man's float. Did it a few times with Connor's girlfriend. Did it. She held me up and didn't let me go. And then we went to Cliffs of Moher, and she went up higher, and me and Connor took a few pictures of me at Cliff of Moher, and I was the first time I was in Cliffs of Moher. Oh yeah, we got views of pictures of Darn Islands and all that. It was a really great trip, and then we went to in Banador, with a blind matchmaking festival is anyway oh yeah, and Doris Connor's girlfriend danced with me. Anyway, that's the crack. Anyway, that it was the best time ever. And and Pippin is not with Fiona anymore. He's now spending his life in Texas, having a good life. I really miss that dog. Anyway, I love that dog more than I love Fiona. Anyway, that's the crack. Thank you. Hopefully this is now the end.